Hi everyone and welcome to the 7th Totally Speedway Q&A. I'm the publisher and editor Daniel Powell, and hit me up with your Speedway related questions. And thanks for people for tuning in so far. So I'll be here for the next hour just to answer all your Speedway related questions. We're at August 30 now. We're coming up to the next month the Speedway season starts, so it's a very exciting sort of time. So there's plenty happening, plenty of car designs coming out, plenty of teams frantically putting their cars together to get ready for the season. So it's certainly going to be an exciting one, and before too long, within a couple of weeks, we'll have Queensland getting underway, and so that was cool. Just to recap things from the weekend just gone, the Chariots of Thunder series recently finished up on Saturday night at Darwin's North Line Speedway in the Northern Territory. James McFadden ended up coming away with the win. So, he ended up winning the overall point series. That was over the 5 nights, so over 3 weekends. One of the stars of the whole weekend, or the last round, was Tim Van Gogh, fellow Victorian. He ended up winning the NT title. He done what a lot of people haven't done. He managed to chase after James McFadden, who was leading at the time, and pass him, trade side jobs, pass him back, and actually go on to take a win. So Tim, he runs for Harry Drosty in the V Victoria number 36 car. And he certainly drove one of the races of his life. And for anyone that for anyone to be able to pass James McFadden, catch him and pass him and go on to take a win certainly would have earned it, and certainly a new career highlight. Tim's now the current NT champion and also the current Western Australian champion as well, so he's certainly one driver to watch out for. So but that's the Chariots of Thunder is now done and dusted for another year. They've certainly done a lot of great things. They had Clay per view and with that. So it was really exciting. They've done a lot of different promotions, and I think a lot of teams or a lot of tracks down south can take a lot of leaves out of their book. And also the teams, like for probably the past decade or so, the Chariots of Thunder has really struggled to get car numbers or to get big names, to have the guys like James McFadden, Dave Murcott, Adam Clark, who's a 4-time Australian speed car champion, actually make the effort to go up there. You've got Tim Van Ginningen, you've got Rusty Hickman from Victoria, so those guys are rising talents. Tim Van Ginningen's been racing for quite a while now, but he's certainly rising in prominence with performances as he showed on Saturday night. So, but it was great. And next year for the Chariots of Thunder up north certainly looks to be bigger and better. So well done for everyone involved, and well done for the competitors for making the effort to go up there, especially the ones. And then tomorrow night at Alice Springs Speedway, or Runga Park Speedway in Alice Springs, they're going to be running a few sprint cars, and Darren Hickman, Rusty's dad's going to be running a car there, and there's a couple of other cars that are going to be there. So the sprint cars returning to Alice Springs. That's part of the Alice Nats, I think it's called. So so we've got a few questions here. Connor Beverton, thoughts on James Thompson's new war paint? I saw that, Connor, and it looks really good. And James, he's a guy that shows that persistence pays off. And James, he didn't win last year, but the season before he won the track championship. But when James started back in 99-2000 season, he certainly didn't set the world on fire and was just make up the numbers at the back of the field. But over the years, he's progressively turned up and just kept on getting faster and faster and more competitive. And James is certainly rated as one of Sydney's toughest local competitors. He hasn't done a whole lot of travelling elsewhere, but certainly at Valvoline Raceway, he certainly has been doing really, really well and is a regular front runner. So, and James has been racing ever since he started in the 99-2000. I think he's one of the few drivers I'll stand corrected if I am, but James, I think, hasn't missed a meeting since pretty much when he debuted. So early on, he hasn't missed a round. So that's huge. There used to be Grant Tunks used to hold that honour, but he doesn't now he's missed a few over the years, in recent years. But yeah, James Thompson holds the record. He's one of the drivers that turns up each and every week. So Mitchell Brown asked a few questions. Thoughts on the pole shuffle between Tim Mangy and Dave Murcott? Yeah, on Saturday night, it was certainly an interesting one. But yeah, Tim was, David Murcott, he certainly doesn't die wondering, and yeah, he got it wrong in the pole shuffle and ended up crashing into Tim, and crashing out, and that ended his night. So that was disappointing. But Murcott's all or nothing sort of racer, and I don't think he's going to change his ways, and that's just how it is. And it can be a winner one night, but then crashing the next. But that's Murcott for you, sort of thing. But he's still one of the country's best racers. So yeah, there's a number. So yeah, sorry about that. My phone was just ringing. But the pole shuffle's great. A couple of weekends ago, Tim Van Kinningen came from position 8 to pole position. So I think that was round 1 of the Chariots of Thunder. So that was awesome. And speaking to Tim earlier in the week, he says he had a lot of great feedback. Fans especially fans up north that never heard of him, though they've heard about James McFadden and the like. But this Victorian guy who's been racing ever since he was a kid, started in junior sedans, and fans coming up, or people coming up and go, "I never heard of you, now we love you." So so that's awesome, and it's great that Tim has been able to travel more, and that's one of his goals for this season, is to travel a bit more. So Chris Wilkinson, what track haven't you been to but want to, and why? Chris, it's an interesting question. There's a number of tracks in Western Australia. I've been to, I'd have to, pretty much all the tracks around the country, bar a few of them. I'd love to get up to Broome Speedway in Western Australia, so that's right up the top there. I'd love to do and visit all those tracks. I'd love to go to a track in the Northern Territory in Gove, so Nhulunbuy, I think it says, Nhulunbuy Speedway. That'd be pretty awesome to go to. That'll be, just because, like, people that don't know Gove it's a one road in, one road out, and if it's wet, you're stuck there, so you've got to fly stuff in. So it's one of those really remote sort of tracks, but I'd love to go there and just experience the whole town and the whole area. So it's only a small area, but I'd love to go there. I'd love to go to Albany, down south of Western Australia, so that would be down there to see I'd love to go there. I haven't been there before, so I've been to the Perth Motorplex and been to Ellenbrook and Kalgoorlie Speedway and all that, but have yet to venture south or north of Western Australia. So that would be something that I'd love to do. Pretty much, I'd love to go to Cairns. I've been to Cairns and actually seen the track, but actually haven't seen a race meeting there. But it's a really picturesque sort of place, very hot up there naturally. But yeah, I'd love to go to Cairns Speedway and see some racing there. I've been to Mareeba. That's about an hour inland. So that's a pretty cool track up in North Queensland. So those sort of tracks, they're the ones that I'd love to go to. Pretty much been to the majority of other tracks around the country, so very lucky and fortunate being able to travel these tracks. Been to a lot of tracks. One track I've been to all the tracks in Tasmania, but yet to see a race meeting at Hobart's Mountain Dew Ice Raceway. I think that's what they call it now. So no, independent golf. Yeah, I think it's Mountain Dew Ice Speedway. So I'd like to go there and see a race meeting to see the Grand National event. So. Chris, hopefully that answers your question. Keep the other questions flowing. So, but, and as I said, ask me any questions, past or present or anything. But last week we finished all the top 10 rankings. A lot of people weren't happy with it. Some people were, but it all comes down to it's really subjective, but that's why we do the top rankings. The next rankings we're going to be doing, that's coming up probably December, January. We're going to be the top 10 hottest female and male drivers. Won't be judged by me. They'll be judged by the previous winners from the event. So the defending winners were, the last time we did it was 2015. It was. So that was Kirsty Kelly, a lightning sprint racer. She she'll judge the males, and we'll get James McDonald, who's a part-time Formula 500 racer, and he was the male winner of that year. So yeah, so we'll bring that back. That'll be around the December, January period. Always brings up debates, and yeah, certainly, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who they pick and people that nominate. So yeah, but keep your questions rolling in. Yeah, we've got 40 people watching at the moment. So thanks, people, for coming in and, you know, supporting this and listening to me talk about Speedo, because it's something that I love, something that I consider myself very knowledgeable about. So if I can help answer anyone's questions or give opinions, that's what I'm here for. So yeah, but yeah, this coming season, it's certainly an exciting one. A lot of the speedway tracks are really making a lot of effort, and the associations, they get the more and more publicity that they're seeing what other tracks are doing. They're starting to con on and go, okay, well, maybe we need to do that. So they're updating their websites more. They're utilising social media more. And it's great to see, and it's only going to benefit the tracks by getting more people through the gate and more competitors. The more competitors they get through the gate, the more the crowd's going to come, because no one wants to sit there and watch a 5-car race start the night, and then by the feature there's 2 or 3 cars going around and people are fighting around. Yeah, with that. So yeah, so we've got a question here. Josh Stevenson, he's the 2014 Australian V8 Modified champion. He won that down at Avalon. He's just written restarts. So in terms of, I'm not sure, Jai, if you could elaborate more with that. Hopefully everything's well at Grafton, or you've recovered from your ski trip the other week. I saw that. So yeah, elaborate a bit more, but yeah, keep the questions flowing in. I'll do my best to answer them. Sometimes Facebook doesn't allow all the questions to be seen. I don't know why, so I apologise in advance for that, because I do, after the actual event, like the live Q&A is finished, I go back and I see questions that never came through live. So please, yeah, send them through. Yeah, and I'll do my best to answer them, because yeah, I feel really bad if I see questions there, because they've made the effort to write the questions, and I'm wanting to make the effort to at least reply. So yeah, but keep them rolling in. Yeah, I'm here to answer whatever Speedway related question you've got. So yeah, but I must also say congratulations to Australia's Ian Madsen. He won his 2nd Knoxville Raceway Track Championship over the weekend. He becomes only the 3rd Australian to do that. So he's won, Skip Jackson won back-to-back back in 1997 and 1998. His older brother Kerry won the 2005 Knoxville National Track Championship, and Ian won his first back in 2014 and now backed it up to in 2017. So it's certainly been a great season over there for Ian Madsen and Kerry, and the season in America is starting to wind down now. The majority of Australian drivers have returned home. Obviously, we'll have the likes of Kerry Madsen, and Ian will do a lot of the racing. Peter Britton, that was another Australian that's really kicking butt over there in the dirt modifieds. He won back-to-back feature races, A-mains as they call it over there, over the weekend. So he's certainly in great form. And yeah, recently he ended up creating history by becoming the first Australian driver to win a Super Dirt Series round. So yeah, that's great, and it's great to see Peter, a guy that's really backed himself and went over there to fly the flag for Australia and really making his mark there. And it's awesome to see, because it's going to pave way for other V8 modified drivers to follow suit. So yeah, but it's really awesome, and it's really helping the class there, having an Australian flying the flag over in America. It really helps the class back here, because it gives people, youngsters in the class or young drivers, just to hope to go, okay, because in the past it's all speedway. You know, if you want to go over to if you also want to go over to America, in the past it's been sprint car drivers, but now the more and more Australia becomes aligned with the American concept, you've got more late model drivers going over there now. You've got VO2 modified drivers that have gone over there, and they haven't previously done that before. So it's really awesome to see, yeah, with that. So Graham Lagerlow, Kerry also finished 2nd this year. So he ran second to Ian because Ian now ended up winning the A main and Kerry ended up running second. So yeah, so Jai Stevenson's just a dual lane restart should be compulsory in feature race. What do you think? I think, yeah, I think it's a good thing because you see if a driver is fast, then it doesn't matter. Like if he's fast on the night, you know what I mean? Like if he's fast, he's fast. You know, and he's got these nailed the setup. So dual lane restarts certainly make it interesting for other drivers. It also probably cuts out the carnage as well. That's something, you know, like sure there's a side by side, but when you've got them in Indian file, people do dive bombs and they fill people in, but at least when you're side by side, it kind of, obviously there's accidents that happen there, but it kind of just makes it, gives them a fair go and just gives them, yeah, from that point of view. So yeah, Jai, I agree that dual lane restart should be compulsory in feature races. Yeah, but you know, and like I think there should be a rule if drivers are not with restarts. There should be things where drivers get penalised to go, okay, there is not. If you can't behave on a dual restart, you go to Indian file, or you get your laps cut short. You know, especially at the end there of exciting feature races, it's kind of gloves off. So to have a dual restart with, say, 2 to go would really spice things up. And that's what we've got to do as a sport, regardless of the class. We've got to make it more exciting. We've got to make it more, yeah, and doing the dual lane restarts is certainly a benefit that could help. You know, it creates more excitement. It gives other competitors another chance, you know, and if the guy on pole position, although he might lead the whole race, if he gets it wrong, then the others are going to shoot around him. So, you know, and the track changes. So it throws up all these elements sort of things. So, yeah, so Jai, yeah, I'm fully supportive of it because we need to make this sport more exciting. You know, we can't just dumb it down and just, yeah, do that. So I've got another question here. David William, do you think Tatnall will get a ride in Australia this summer? You've written here, get a berth. Get a ride in Australia this summer. Yes, I think Tatnall will. I'm not sure on what the schedule will be. There was a few rumours going around that he was going to be running for a prominent team, but that never, a rival team down in Victoria, but that never eventuated. So I think Brooke will get a ride at some stage. I'm not sure how many races he will do. And yeah, because especially like we're looking now, like it's August 30, and you know nothing's been announced. So yeah, that's all good. But yeah, Dave, thank you for your question. But I think yeah, Brooke will be one to watch if he regardless of what driver. What team he's driving for. So, yeah, but it'd certainly be weird to not have the surname Tatnall in the sport. But we've got, what people have got to understand too, you know, Brooke's been racing for a long time now, but we've got this new crop of talent that are coming through. So, you know, or established talent in Jamie Veal, James McFadden and the guys like that. And then we've got Tim Van Gideon, who was able to, runs on a small budget, but was able to pass McFadden, who's, you know, in the form of his career. He come off last season winning the Grand Annual Classic, wrapped up the World Series for another occasion. So, and the Monty Motorsport team, and to have Tim Van Gideon just drive past him and actually, you know, take the lead and go on to win, that's awesome and a big achievement. So, yeah, but like if Tatnall's not here, it's not the end of the world. We've got plenty of talent and plenty of races. If Brooke doesn't choose to come and race or he doesn't get an opportunity, then that would be disappointing. But, you know, the sport's bigger than one individual. And Brooke's had a great year in America. He was unlucky at the Knoxville Nationals. But, yeah, he's been in pretty good form. Unlucky to not get the win, but has podiumed multiple times. So, yeah. But we've got... Yeah, but, you know, and as I said, there's heaps more talent coming through. It's no longer just the Brooke Tatnall Brazier show anymore. We've got so much young talent and drivers that are really putting on a show. So, yeah, Marcus Rumsey, will it be good for sprint cars and wingless for lap cars to get the lucky dog at the cautions to get a lap back? I know that's something, Marcus, that is done in America. but I don't know, I don't agree with it. You know, in NASCAR, a lot longer races. So, you know, if a guy's a lap down and he's having a bad night, if you're quick, you'll get to the front of the field. So you've seen guys, depending on the track conditions, there can be track conditions that drivers struggle to get to the front of the field, and you can say I've seen guys like prominent racers are getting lapped, and it's shocking, but it's just sometimes the tracks, if you qualify down the back of the field in this competition. So in terms of a lucky dog, yeah, I wouldn't like to see it. So yeah, I just don't. So especially in a 30-lap feature. So yeah, and it all comes down, as I said, it's called lucky dog, so it's luck. So it could be a guy that could be James McFadden that might get lapped. I doubt that happening, but you know, but seeing that, and then he might be as the caution comes out, he might be the second car that's about to get lapped, so then he will miss out on that, so he goes down a lap. So yeah, I can't see it working, or yeah, not really. Yeah, see the point of it, to be honest. So yeah, if a driver's fast, we know straight away as soon as, yeah, if the track allows it, they can move forward and avoid getting lapped in the first place. So yeah, but thanks for all your questions. Yeah, keep them rolling in. Really enjoying this, and yeah, thanks for your support. So we've got greens. So we've got greens for Miller. Who's the hot tip for the Brian Rose this year? The defending champion is Anthony Bear, so he'll be certainly tough to beat, and he's the current Western Australian champion as well. So yeah, so he'll be there. Jamie Oldfield, of course, he'll be amongst it. You've got all these other young drivers coming through. Brad McClure, of course, he ran third in last season, so he's going to be making the trip over there next month. So yeah, but certainly there's, you know, it's all about qualifying towards the front of the Brian Rose. That is certainly a vital part. So if you qualify well, you're in with a shot, but it'll be tough to beat that surname Oldfield and Bear too. So those guys put in a ding-dong battle last season. So to have them, it'll be interesting to see how they go, and hopefully they can put on a display like they did last year, because I was there for that event, and yeah, honestly, it was one of the best races I've ever seen across the board. And those two, Bear and Oldfield, don't like each other, so they're fierce rivals, but you know, they certainly give each other. They don't give each other an inch, and they put on some great racing. So yeah, so I was either Oldfield or Bear. So that's my pick. But yeah, it'd be good to see someone come up and get an actual cause an upset. So that'd be awesome to see. So we've got another question here for Ben Griffin. Speaking about restarts, should lap cars go to the rear or hold their spot in the pack? Ben, well, they should go to the rear, because that's, in my personal opinion, that's what I'm here for, to express I think that they should go to the rear of field, because they just get in the way. Sure, it sounds, you know, like, especially if we're talking like Josh Stevenson was saying that they should have dual lane restarts, they should be mandatory. Imagine having lap cars between there and trying to work out who's where. Like, we're all about creating a spectacle, but that would just create a mess. It would hold up the race. There'd be cars. So if the lap cars just get told to go to the rear of the field, then it's settled. So they all go to the rear. They get in their with transponders these days. It's all sorted. We don't imagine a dual lane restart and having lap cars high or low. You don't know where they are. So yeah, so I reckon that's definitely, they shouldn't hold their spot in the pack. So yeah, they're a lapped car for a reason. So it's just basically just getting in the way. There's no point. They go to the back of the field. They can run their own race. They can try and recover and go from there. But they shouldn't be put amongst the pack when they're a lap down. I know, sure, it creates an obstacle, but there's enough obstacles as there is out there on the speedway track and the ever-changing track conditions, the rivals themselves. So do we really need to put it out there? I know that's been put in there before, but it just creates confusion. It's hard for the spectators. Sometimes, depending on the track conditions, you can have a lapped car and you don't really know, apart from the leader, you don't know who's running second or third. So if the track conditions it's hard to pass, then they're amongst there. You could be cheering on a guy that's a lap down, but he could actually people would think he was in second, but he'd be a lap down. So yeah, it doesn't create an spectacle. It confuses spectators, especially the casual observer who doesn't really know Speedo too much. So yeah, so we've got that. So yeah, so Ben, yeah, totally against it, and yeah, I hope that I've across all classes, and I think I've put up a good argument for that. So I've got another question here from Mitchell Moody. As a young driver trying to make his mark in the sport, what is the best way to gain exposure and potential sponsors? Cheers in advance. Mitch, that's a really good question, and really good that you're thinking that way and really thinking outside the box to go, okay, what can I do to be better? Like all of the young drivers, they're focused on the car and trying to get to the front. That's fair enough. A lot of people race to win, but they forget about the important parts of promoting themselves and in order to gain potential sponsors. So gaining actual coverage from, just promoting yourself and always trying to be professional. I know that word's used a lot, thrown around a lot, but actually, just promoting your racing. If you have a bad night, don't go slandering. You might run into a guy. Don't go slandering and getting into an argument online. That's really unprofessional, and you never know who's watching, or and you could certainly, it creates a negative image. So and if you have a bad night, say you had a bad night, but always thanking your supporters. So and like to gain exposure, you've got social media elements now. You've got you can approach your local newspaper. You've got services like myself. I don't mean to name drop, but my business, Redline Media, I do a lot of promotions for drivers, but that's not for everyone. Not everyone can afford the luxury to have services such as mine, and there's many others that are available. So, but if you can do it yourself, that's great, and if you're just wanting to promote your social medias, I'm always making it interesting, always doing regular updates, not just doing boring stuff, doing videos of your rebuilding the car, some photos of your new car, things like that, some footage that you could have up from your racing, a throwback Thursday. So all these different things to engage your audience in growing your social media profiles. And then that flows on. The more exposure you get, the more you can be exposed to potential sponsors. So it's all about, getting there and getting noticed, not necessarily, running up the front's handy, but actually doing that, but getting there and being a promotable, presenting a good-looking car, it doesn't take a whole lot of money to look professional, when you might not be able to afford flashy shirts or something like that, but just having something that will look presentable. So, it doesn't have to be full professional or anything like that. I understand that a lot of money, and people are racing their cars, and that's where the majority of their money goes, and that's fair enough. But trying to, just doing that way, because you never know who's watching, and putting together a proposal. That's obviously another thing that I do for Redline Media. But, putting something together, you're having something in writing, even putting it yourself. You've got all these programs online these days that can be utilised. So, but Mitchell, I hope that answers the question, and good luck for the future. And it's great to hear that you're asking this question and starting to think about that, because when it comes to it, you need to be thinking about the way. You need to think outside the box. And you just need to promote yourself, regardless of where you run in the field, because the more you do it, and as long as you do it professionally and keep it clean, and don't get into any arguments or anything like that with people if you have a bad night. So so just keep it clean, because you never know who's watching, and especially if you're trying to make your mark in the sport, you don't want to make a negative mark in the sport. You want to make a positive and really make a go of this sport, because people tend to forget that this sport is really small, and a lot of people know people. So so everyone knows everyone. It's not as big of a sport circle-wise as people might think. So Bruce Keane having trouble getting on tonight. If anyone is with Bruce, or has got the same problems, please let me know. I'm not sure. Internet is good here, so it seems to be good at my end. If Bruce, just let me know if it gets better. Or anyone else. If anyone's having dramas, please let me know, and I'll try and rectify the problem. So we've got another question here from Shane Murphy. He's from Queanbeyan in New South Wales, right next door to Canberra. What are your thoughts on the state of sedan racing at the moment? I think it's a good thing. You've got like sedan racing in general. I think it's great. You've got modified sedans, they're racing through the roof, and promoters are starting to see that. You've got street stocks. You know, it was only the 2016 Australian title of Ballarat's Redline Raceway in Victoria, where they got, I think, 130 plus cars. So, yeah, so the state of sedan racing at the moment is good. Sure, there is complications with all the regulations and all that sort of stuff. You've got New South Wales that's, you know, and they have different sanctioning for junior sedans, street stockers as well. But that's just the way it is at the moment. That might change, so I'm not 100% sure about that. Hopefully it does. But yeah, but it is what it is at the moment. But I think sedan racing as a whole is going forward. National 4-cylinder sedans is, you know, that's the latest class that's been introduced. That was hopeful of being a stepping stone for a lot of cars out of junior sedans. So it hasn't taken off as much as it could have. Had the national title was confirmed for this year, their first national title, but that never eventuated. That got cancelled, so that was disappointing. But National 4s, you know, it's a good class. They've got some good racing, and it certainly allows people to race different sort of cars. So yeah, so we've got that. But yeah, but then you've got super sedan racing. They've got the Australian title at Sydney's Valvoline Racing. That is huge. It hasn't been there since 2003 when Mick Nicola won his third Australian title. So, and that was also the event that veteran New South Wales racer John Pine, that was seriously injured, and that ended his career. So yeah, so it's awesome. Yeah, production sedans going really strong on the East Coast. So yeah, so we've got that. Yeah, so sedan, and then we've got other sedans. We've got late models. So late models are going really strong. Tyler Erb, the American, he's a youngster out of Texas in America. He's got announced today to be running the US Invasion Tour that runs over in Western Australia in January. He's driving for the HDD racing team out of Victoria, so that's Justin Pearson, and he'll be running the second car to youngster Cameron Pearson. So that's really good to have Tyler Erb, so a young racer. He's 20 years old. He currently is sitting 5th in the World of Outlaws point standings for late models. And yeah, so it's going to be awesome to see what he can do. And yeah, it's really exciting. Well done to the Pearson family for bringing him out and making it all happen. So that announcement was made officially this morning. So yeah, so that's good. So Bruce still can get on down. I hope you have a great season. Thanks, Bruce, and thanks for your support. It's very much appreciated, and glad to hear that it's okay. Shane Spinks, hi, General. Yeah, hi, guys. Sorry, I'm a bit snuffly at the moment. I've got a little bit of a cold, so yeah, winter is nearly over. It's around a couple of days and we'll be into spring, so it's when the season gets underway. But yeah, but keep the questions. We've just got just under half an hour to go, and yeah, I'll be here till 8:30 New South Wales time. But yeah, throw any questions your way. I'll do my best to answer them. I know I say this a lot, but thanks everyone for the support and tuning in, because without you guys, it doesn't make it all worthwhile, because I'll be talking to no one. But it's the really good numbers that we've got out. On average, we've had over the 1 hour show, we've had 2,000 people on average. So that's been really good, people tuning in at different times. So thanks everyone for the support. It really makes it worthwhile. And yeah, really excited about the season. We've got a guest that's coming on next week. We're going to be doing an interview. Gavin Skeen, he's going to be his Blackjack coach. So he's one of the country's leading photographers. He's going to be a guest as a separate, similar to like what I did the other week with Tim Saville. So he's going to come into the office and we're going to do an interview and talk all things photography, media. Yeah, so that's, yeah, we're going to be doing that. So we'll be talking for an hour, and then we'll have so I'll probably doing that Tuesday with Gavin. And then we've got this week, then on Wednesday night, we'll do the live Q&A. So, yeah, so Gavin Skeen from Blackjack Coast. We're going to be talking all things. It's just going to be an open conversation. We're going to be sharing what we know about marketing and how we can help everyone, because there's, you know, like Gavin and I are in our mid-30s, and we need to encourage younger people. We've got so many young drivers and all that, but we don't, behind the scenes of Speedway, we don't have a lot of young people. So, yeah, so we've got that. So hopefully everyone can tune in with that. That'll be a 7th, so that'll be next Tuesday night. Gavin Scheme from Blackjack Coast. So yeah, so we'll be talking all things media, so that's good. Robert Jordan chimes in and just says to Bruce, close Facebook down and start again. I had problems last week, so that's great. Thanks for giving Bruce that tip, Robert, and once again, thanks for tuning in. You're a regular. So Anthony Snedden, what's the funniest thing you've ever seen at a track? Oh, where do I start? There's a laugh a minute sometimes at Speedway. So from that, there was one time when I was a kid. I used to pit crew for a budget sprint car racer, Stephen Grassmeyer, and one of the pit crew members, there was a red light stoppage, and you'd run out onto the infield, or we'd run to the car. So we did that once, and one of the pit crews, I won't mention any names, but he'd fallen over in the clay and the mud. So we were talking the late 90s, early 2000s. And I'm following behind. He's fallen over. I'm laughing, so I'm nearly falling over. So that was funny. One time there was a crash with one of the competitors. I think it was Kelly Linigan. She crashed over the fence before. And it was when Valvoline Raceway introduced another fence. So there was the pit fence, and then you had another fence. So yeah, Kelly had crashed over the second fence. I think she'd come together with Steve Rind or something like that. I think that was in turns 3 and 4. And, one of the safety crew people had tried to jump over the fence. So he didn't go around, he tried to go over the fence. And he didn't fall off or anything, but it was just funny how he was climbing to try and get over there while everyone else was already over there. So, yeah, they were two of the funniest moments. And also any other time I got behind the wheel of a race car, that was pretty funny too. So Crashy, hope that answers your question, and hopefully you have a good season, mate, taking photos, and thanks for all your efforts. It's very much appreciated. So keep up the good work, and hopefully on Tuesday you're tuning in with the interview between Gavin Skeen and myself. So Robert Jordan here. Positive and a negative. How are super rods not run in other states than Victoria? Okay, great racing. Super rods have they've been a big part of the Victorian Speedway scene. They start with the VSC, so down there, and I love super rods, and I've got always paying attention to guys like Darryl Nelson there, who's a legend, and you've got Andrew Howard, who's the current Victorian champion. You've got Sean Walsh. So I've got a lot of drivers who've had John Vogels, who's the current front runner in the SRA sprint cars in Victoria. He's a former super rod racer. You've got Jeff Judd, who works on Jamie Veal's crew, or did. And he's running. He's a former super rod racer before he went to sprint cars, and then I'm winning the sprints as well. So I think it was just always been a Victorian class. I remember the Americans are blown away because they go the opposite direction to what we normally do with the rest of the speedway things. So I think super rods are a fantastic spectacle. Like they're just different beasts. The sprint car shows there's predominantly the big powerful engines, and they've got the covering over it. So I just don't think it was ever pushed in other states. I think V8 dirt modifieds is probably something that took off. So with that. And the second part of your question, on the other hand, the legend cars seem to be the most boring racing I've ever seen. How is that class seen? I certainly disagree with that, the racing. Robert, I'm assuming you're from Victoria. Legend cars at Sydney's Valvoline Raceway here in New South Wales, through the roof. John Denner, he's certainly doing a lot to promote the class and get it to really, push it to move forward. The racing, I'm not sure how much racing you've seen, but the legend cars, there's guys that come from the back of the field. There's guys that, it's that competitive. You've got so many young drivers and, middle-aged drivers that certainly put up a fight. There's a lot of spectacular racing there. You just have to look at the the events and their winners, and it's a bit of everything. So in terms of drivers, so the Australian title that was held in May, that was the inaugural Australian Championship for the Legend Cars. So that was one of the most exciting races I've seen. So Glenn Arnold, he put it on pole and we ended up winning. But the race for the minor positions went through the roof. So no, Legend Cars is certainly. I think you probably just need to see a bit more of them. And if they grow and take off like they're trying to, they're very strong in New South Wales, but obviously in Victoria they've had a few cameo appearances. Queensland's trying to get them up and running there. Ian Jones from Gatton Speedway, so that's he's doing really well to try and build the class up there. And and you've got Western Australian tried, and there's a small amount of field there, and so. But the thing is with the Legend cars, they can guarantee 20 to 30 cars. So even if they can travel as a package deal and go to tracks, and so I think Legend cars are a great thing. But and in your previous questions, super rods, they're awesome, but I think they're just a Victorian thing. So so we've got another question here from Bruce Bullard. Hope you're well, Bruce. Do you think there are too many sedan classes in Australia? Bruce, yes, of course. Answer that in a couple of words. Yes, of course. So, but how do we change that? With different associations recognising different sedan classes, it makes it hard to police, or not to police, but to rationalise, because if people aren't happy with X amount of thing, they go and join another association, or at least try to. So it makes it hard having different associations, especially in your home state of Victoria. There's a lot of options. So although racing across a lot of the classes are very strong, but you've certainly got, there's just too many sedan classes. But rationalising it's easier said than done. So I'd like to see that happen, but I think it would start slowly. But it comes down to drivers putting the sport forward as well as apart from their own interests, so that makes it hard. So with that. So Bruce, there's too many, but whether that's done, and it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of there's certainly the flow of classes getting introduced is certainly stopping, but it makes it hard. It's across the board. Sedans they're a big chunk of Australian speedway. And yes, there's a lot of them, but whether that it all comes down to people putting their personal interest aside and thinking the betterment of the sport. So with that, because it's better, I'd rather have classes turn up with 20 to 30 cars as opposed to having some sedan classes that rock up with 5 to 6 cars and expect to get a run. So it makes it hard. So Anthony Sten, Crash, what are your thoughts on the sprint car state of origin deal ran at Valvoline Raceway last season? Crash, I think that was a fantastic concept. It's something different. There was something interesting when I was listening to the coverage of the Knoxville Nationals, and Kerry Madsen said the beauty with Australia is the fact that we're willing to try different formats, different concepts, and where America's kind of just stuck in that cookie cutter of time trials, heat races, dash, A main. And for a long time, Australia was caught in that cycle as well, you know what I mean, like with the time trials. And so I think the state of origin year was really good. It was something light-hearted, but the drivers, they were going, they were going 10 temps, but they probably, they really were putting on a show there. But a lot of them at the same time would then know, with it being a one-off event sort of thing and having the Australian title being the following nights, then it kind of affected their pushing harder than they should have, because but I think it's a good thing, and that's the beauty with Australian Speed. They're trying different formats, different concepts, and state of origin, and that's a great thing. And I hope that continues, because we've got to keep pushing the boundaries. We've got to keep trying different things. If we stay the same, and as the saying goes, what's the definition of madness? It's doing the same thing over and over again. So so with that, so hopefully, Speedo certainly here in Australia certainly opening their eyes and thinking out different ways, and we've just got to keep doing that. We've got to keep trying things. We've got to keep, some things we've got to persist with that. So Yeah, with that. So Shane Spinks, Christy Bonzi were doing the Polar Ice Midget Series this season, and for the BCMOs. Yes, Shane, I've heard of that. She's certainly going to be busy. She's going to be doing her sprint car with the family-owned team, and then running the midget for that's for your team. So that's really exciting. Yeah, she should do really well, and having a lot of track time. Driving a speed car and a sprint car, two different things. Obviously, you got the wing with the sprint car, and then you've got the speed with the speed car, but without the wings. So yeah, so she had a few runs last season, sorry, and yeah, did really well, and yeah, I think she'll do well. And as I said last week, I think she's one of the most versatile female competitors that Australian Speedway's got. So yeah, it'd be great, and it'd be good to see her doing the whole season and see where she ends up. But she's certainly going to be busy running that, juggling speed car and sprint car commitments. So, yeah, Robert Jordan's got a question. Do you run Sprint Car World website? No, Robert, I don't. I run the Totally Speedway website, totallyspeedway.com.au. Sprint Car World is run by Darren Shaddock, who's been running that that launched in the late 90s, early 2000s. So that was with Daniel Beard and Stephen Green, so Valvoline Raceways former track manager. So that's awesome. Sprint Car World, so that played, and that's still one of the staples in Australian Speedway, and that's, but I certainly don't run that, but that's an awesome website, and hopefully, can continue to grow, and I've grown up, especially in my media career, gave me a launch to launch my writing, so, yeah. So, no, I don't run that website, but it's a cool website. But, yeah, totallyspeedway.com.au is my website. So, yeah, so we've got just over 10 minutes to go. Keep those questions rolling in. I'm here for another 10 or so minutes. So, I'll do my best to answer your questions. I'll just have a look here to see if there's any other questions that I may have missed. Just bear with me. I'm just checking now on my phone to see if there's any ones that I've missed. Yeah, so we've got Brett Island saying no love for the SA Speed Car guys. There's always love. So the SA Speed Car guys, certainly they're doing some great things promotion-wise. They've got the Australian title. South Australia's got the Australian title, which is going to be held at Murray Speedway. So that's going to be really cool to see. Some fantastic racing that's gone on in speed cars at Murray Speedway when they've had rounds of the Pro Series, the 1 year run Pro Speed Week Series. So it'll be good to see the Australian title, and there's a lot of drivers that are really excited about the Australian title going to South Australia. So Graham Lagerlow's throwing another question here. Sorry, this is with that. Okay, Graham Lagerlow. Should speedways with video capabilities use a referee chief steward similar to their SGP? I wrote, must have been about 5 years ago, I wrote about that. Be like what we've got with the football, like with the rugby league, we've got a video ref. So, that'd be interesting. I fully support that because there is, but it's hard. It's about, do we stop the race or have them roll around while the chief steward's watching a video, and rewinding, and it's all subjective. Like, who's gonna decide on what's going to happen, who decides what, like watching a video, and you could show 10 different people and have 10 different opinions. So, that could hold up the show. So, I think, Graham, that would be a good idea, but it's, with the SGP, there's only 4 riders, so that's kind of makes it, with sprint cars, when you've got 20 cars, that makes it difficult. So, but I think it'll be a good thing, but, whether it's capabilities, is it, like whether that's possible sort of thing. So, that could be interesting, but I would like to see, I'll be a supporter. I wrote about it years ago, in Totally Speedway as a magazine. So, so we've got here, just running through the questions. Other ones that I've missed here. Brad Warren, what did you have for dinner tonight, Shay? And it was good. Cook it all myself. Yeah. Thanks, Brad. You're always a funny one. So, yeah. So we've got that. Just looking through here, just catching up, just to make sure I haven't missed any questions. All right, I think I'm up to date now. So we've got Robert Jordan. Was it yourself that had a small feud with David Tapp and his Speedo website a few years ago? If so, what was the issue with that organisation? If not, disregard. Robert, yeah, Tappy and I, we certainly are exchanging Christmas gifts. We've had a long feud that, yeah, I'm not going to go into about that, but that's just, yeah, it's just the way of life. You don't get along with everyone, so yeah. But no, rivalry's good, and to be honest, when Tappy shut down Speedo Racing News, I was kind of disappointed in a way because I like having the rivalry. I like, yeah, sort of things. So, but so Tappy's off doing other things now. But, you know, and Tappy done a lot of good for the sport. I will say that. You know, and certainly he wasn't the easiest person to get along with. But he done a lot of good things. And, you know, with the TV, even though it wasn't the highest quality, it was, yeah, it certainly brought the TV and the media side of things. So, yeah, Tappy and I aren't mates, never will be. But, yeah, a rival, but it's good to have them. They make you better people, you know, and just like the racing sort of things. So, yeah. So, no, but, yeah, Tappy and I, yeah, we're not friends, but yeah, that's cool. It's good to have rivals, so it's all good. But I do miss him being around the Speedo traps, so it's cool. Mick Lewis has written here, what do you think of mod lights? Mod lights are great. They put on a lot of spectacular racing. They're really strong in Queensland, really strong. They're developing down South Australia. I think, Mick, if memory serves me right, you're from South Australia. So, yeah, so mod lights are good. I think, you know, the mod lights, legend cars sort of thing, I'm not sure what the go is with that. Two different classes, budget, speed with that. Privately owned, association owned, privately owned legend cars are. Mod lights are run by an association. So, yeah, I think they're good things. They look really cool. They sound really cool. The racing's good. Terry Liebenfeld, so he's spent a long time in mod lights and done very well. He's moved to V8 Jet Modifieds now, but he's also, yeah, going to be doing sporadic appearances at the major events for mod lights. So, yeah, so Mick, yeah, I'm good, but, you know, I think mod lights and legend cars, they're very similar in certain ways. They can coexist. So, Geordie Smith asks here, hey, mate, what are your thoughts on the Cricky Veal deal? I think it's awesome. I've been asked this question a lot. So, yeah, I think it's awesome because last season they were spanked by the Monty Motorsport team and James McFadden. So, having Veal and the Cricky team up, it's going to be a lethal combination. And, you know, a couple of seasons, Veal made a cameo appearance with the Cricky car and ended up coming away with a win. So they've certainly got a winning history there, one win for one start at the moment. So, yeah, Veal will be, run their deal. I think they're going to debut in December and then get into World Series and do all the major shows. So, yeah, those two, it's going to be a lethal combination, and both of them were hurting from last year with the way that McFadden certainly, yeah, dominated. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing. It's going to be exciting. It's certainly going to bring a rivalry to another level between Veal and McFadden. So, Anthony McLean, thanks for tuning in. Robbie Farr has just announced that he will be having a teammate in the development series. Any ideas? I'm not 100% sure about that one with the East Coast Pipeline team. So I know last season they had Brendan Rawlings. He ran as like a development driver only he'd done a few races. I'm not sure if that would be him. So, but yeah, leave that with me. But I think the development series running at Valvoline Raceway, it's going to be run over, I think, 6 shows. So that's going to be awesome. And I think that's, yeah, a good thing to giving drivers a chance to get some laps and develop. And that's the whole point of development. And then it's going to complement the main competition when these drivers, it's going to help the show. It's going to help the drivers. And it's all about, you know, sprint cars are daunting. I've driven one myself, not very fast, but they are daunting. You know, I can't imagine being out there with, you know, 20 other cars in a feature race. So, yeah, having a development series is going to give these drivers a chance to just get more laps, be able to race for positions when at the moment they might be making up the numbers at the back of the field, so or stuck in the non-qualifiers. So yeah, so I think the development series is great. I heard that Queensland's going to be starting one. Not sure on how far away that is, but yeah, with that. So yeah, so we've just got a couple more minutes to go. I'll just check here to see if we've got any more questions. From my way, Robert Jordan said it's nice to have a rivalry, especially when you win in your organisation remains. Who's your biggest rival now? No one seems to do what you do. Robert, biggest rival's myself, because I always I know that sounds stupid, but it really is. My rivalry is to be better than I was yesterday and to really push myself and my organisation and my staff. It's not easy doing what I'm doing. Speedway is predominantly a hobby sport for most, so to be able to to draw an income, employ 2 staff, and that, so in terms of, it's just myself. I just want to be better every day. I strive to really push forward in this sport. And just, it's what I love. I can't see myself doing anything else. I don't want to be doing anything else, and it's all up to me. The success of this business, Totally Speedway, and my other business, Red Light Media, is all down to me. It's no one else's. There's no other. It all comes down to me. So so my rival's just been better, and I'm a bit under the weather at the moment, but I still have to come into the office, do a full day, run my business, and then do that. So but I hope and I want encourage youngsters to chase their dream of either racing or doing something as Speedway, because I'm proof that if you work hard and you really put in the effort, then you can really make a go of life. So so Robert, thanks for your questions. One more question just before I go. Geordie Smith, another one, mate. What do you think of V8 non-wing sprints? Obviously they start in West Australia, now start like I said here in Victoria. Obviously they don't run 410s and 360s, they run LS1 race motors, so you think they will have a future on the sport? I'm not too sure. It's early days for the V8 non-wing sprints. It's really hard. There's a number of stumbling blocks there, but let's get them out the track and see what they can do and see. Because as I've said before, the numbers will the support. That's whether you realise whether you've got something or not. If you've got the support, then you will get that. So, so we've got that. So, so I think it'll just be interesting to see what happens with the future, but that'll all come down to support and administration too, the people behind it, and pushing that. So, so hopefully, we'll just wait and see what happens. So, Geordie, I hope that's a question. Crashy here, said we'll be discussing hairstyling tips with Gavin. Well, Gavin's got hair, I don't. So, so I'll be interested. I'll certainly be looking forward to tuning in. Ben Griffin goes, same here, mate. Love this sport. It's hard not to. This sport, as I've said before, if you look after this sport, it'll look after you. So if you do good and do with the best intentions, everything I've ever done, I've made mistakes over the years in business, but I always had the best intentions. It wasn't anything else, and not everything goes to plan. So but with this sport, so we love this sport. A lot of people love the sport, and I'm just grateful. But I'm able to run a business through this sport. It's not easy. I'm certainly not going to get rich from doing it, but if I live a rich lifestyle where I'm happy and love what I'm doing. So, with that. So that's cool. Thanks everyone for tuning in for tonight. Thanks Shane for your support. Thanks Geordie. Thanks Ben. So, I appreciate everyone for tuning in and spending an hour or tuning in for a couple of minutes. So that's cool. That's all for now. Thanks once again. Really appreciate the support. I'll see you in a week's time. So this time, 7:30 next week. We'll also be doing, just remember we'll be doing a discussion live on Facebook with Gavin Skeen and I, so one of the country's leading Speedway photographers. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to everyone tuning in. And thanks guys. Have a good rest of the week. Bye.